Good evening, everybody. Once again, this is the UFC 168 post-fight recap with Estevan Payan. And tonight, wow, what a night and what an event to close out the year 2013 with great nights of surprises, by the way, and with great nights of fights. The card did not disappoint. It was just a lot of shocking endings, though. And I'll explain to you that when I'm going to start reading, so here you go. Now, as the first fight, Robbie Peralta versus Estevan Payan. And the winner is Robbie Peralta via a TKO. William Macario, actually it's Macario, versus Bobby Voelker. And the winner is William Macario via a unanimous decision. And the next fight was John Howard versus Siyar Bahadurzada. And the winner is John Howard via unanimous decision. I mean, this was a pretty close fight overall. I mean, of course, John Howard was actually did more strikes, did more takedowns, even picked him up and nicely, just kept walking, nice and calm, slammed him on his head. Wow! And that was only the second round. And in the third round, he really couldn't recover from that, so John Howard got the victory. And in this next fight right here is Dennis Siver, kickboxing sensation, went against the judo practitioner from Armenian judo practitioner Manny Gamburyan. And the winner is Dennis Siver via unanimous decision. I mean, let's put it like this. In the first round, it basically belonged to all Dennis Siver. Dennis Siver came up with some good kicks. You know, the way he just went about him. Of course, Manny just kept on doing some nice good hooks and punches and stuff. And of course, Dennis Siver took him down, do a nice takedown, ground and pound. Now, here's the thing. Manny Gamburyan also took him down, but he wasn't really getting busy. Like, just like what Joe Rogan criticized. He wasn't getting busy. But once he busted him up, got him cut up right here, it was like a shark that smelled blood. And that's when he really started going for it. That's when he became alive. And that was only the first round. Of course, the second round, that's when Manny Gamburyan really got the better of Dennis Siver for ground and pounds and controls and things like that. Now, of course, for the very first round, though, Dennis Siver was really almost had him choked out, but he kept on grounding and pounding him. He even had him he had him on his back where he had that figure four body scissors on him. Got him control. Second round, it was the opposite. It basically was all Gamburyan. And in the third round, it basically everybody's ball game. But what happened was Dennis Siver really took him down and started really did some damage to Manny Gamburyan to a point where Gamburyan was just so exhausted he really couldn't have any answer. He couldn't escape or anything. So congratulations, Dennis Siver, on an awesome unanimous decision victory. Now, and this next one was one of my favorite fights of all tonight. Was Gleison Tibau went against Michael Johnson, and the winner is Michael Johnson via knockout. Now, how did this happen? Of course, now Gleison Tibau. Now, Yogi was with me tonight over at the sports bar, but he couldn't be with me tonight. But what Yogi was pointing out to me was like, Gleison Tibau was so stiff. How his strike. Now, he has a lot of power in his strikes, but he was so stiff, and how Michael Johnson was just loose, like he was dancing. He was boxing, dancing, everything, and that kind of deal. And Michael Johnson was getting some good hits, was moving out of the way, dodging, and all the good stuff like that. And of course, Gleison Tibau also, of course, had him pressed against a cage in the first round, around, I want to say, but maybe the last minute or so of the first round, pretty much near the cage, and kept on trying to attack him that way. But the bell rang, second round came. It was a different story because, yeah, there was a lot of good strikes going on, but Johnson just kept on coming in and kept on like dodging and throwing jabs and some punches, and then so finally he made a mistake, of course, meaning Tibau had his left hand down while he was trying to throw some punch, and he was able to actually not only throw a straight punch right to Tibau's temple. It rocked him. He went down, and that's when he started hitting him hard. And that's when Johnson got the victory. So congratulations, Michael Johnson, on an excellent knockout victory. And I'm going to tell you something. If that had made knockout of the night, I would have been very disappointed with that. But that was one of the best ones I've seen tonight, right there, that best knockout. Now, this next fight right here is Chris Leben versus Uriah Hall, a great up-and-comer. And the winner is Uriah Hall via TKO via doctor stoppage. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, basically how it is when they first happened, flying knee, knocked Chris right on his butt when the fight just started. So I already had an idea Uriah Hall was going to win, and Chris Leben hasn't necessarily won very good stellar fights as of late, especially the fact he's been gassing out more, and he's getting up there. He's been taking too many hits, and on top of that, from what I was told, he could be on his way out for something. I mean, he could be on his way out because I think I don't know, maybe his heart not into it. But the point was, it showed again tonight because Uriah Hall was on point. The same thing with what was going on with the Gleison Tibau and Michael Johnson fight. The only difference, of course, was Chris Leben, of course, was still stiff, and Silva was trying to chase him. And then Uriah Hall, rather than just being a boxer, he was also kickboxing too, and was going nice leg kicks, some good shots and stuff like that. But then around about the last 22 seconds of the very first round, that's when he was getting himself ready. Chris Leben took a swing, missed, and he actually hit him right square to the nose. It actually hit him so hard that he actually went out. and he was like hitting him hard and hard to a point, and his face was already red from the start of the first round anyway, so he was already hurt anyway. And man, basically his face was getting as red as his hair that he died. Okay, I hate to say it like that, but that's how it was. And so man, when Uriah just kept wailing on him, they were about to start the second round. But Chris Leben was even asking, have I been knocked out? Because I don't think Chris Leben, his faculties wasn't even straight, to a point where he was like, I can't continue. So the referee basically stopped the fight, doctor stoppage, and basically awarded Uriah Hall the victory. And what a classic gentleman he was at the very end, that Joe Rogan was even saying, you're too nice, be proud of yourself more. I guess what Joe Rogan was trying to say. But Uriah Hall deserves that victory, so congratulations. Now, in this awesome fight right there, where there was some heated rivalry, it was Dustin Poirier versus Diego Brandao, and the winner is Dustin Poirier via a TKO victory. Wow. I think that was one of Dustin Poirier's best fights yet. I thought that I've seen, when the last time I've seen him win a big one was when he had a reversible, I would say reversible triangle from the top, and he actually bent the guy's arm and tapped him out. I thought that was his best. Tonight, I think he surpassed that, when they basically just went after Diego Brandao and just knocked him out. Diego Brandao was just too much emotion. He was gassing out too fast. Dustin Poirier was really relaxed. He was really, on the go, but man, but as soon as he went for a kill, that's when he was all emotion, right? That's when he really started letting that emotion. And Diego just went down, and boom, boom, boom. It was over, and on top of that, Dustin Poirier was like, that is my house! That is my house! I liked that attitude. That was like, great. Excellent. This is my house! And that was great to see him, not necessarily behave that way, but just see a little more fire lit up in him. So congratulations, Dustin Poirier. And I'm telling you right now, keep this up, and we may be looking at a future featherweight champion. Now, I know Jose Aldo's a hard guy to beat, but man, if Dustin Poirier keeps this up, he may end up winning it from Jose Aldo. We'll see. We'll see. Now, in this fight right here, didn't last too long, as Jim Miller went against Fabricio Camões. And the winner is Jim Miller via a tap house submission via armbar. Like I said, it didn't take very long, because even though Fabricio started, with some good combinations and some hits and hit Jim Miller also did some good strikes of his own. But then when it went to the ground and he would try to get on top of Jim Miller snuck in an armbar from the position, from the ground position, and actually got him up right there and had him locked in, and even had his leg close to his arm and everything like that, to a point where, of course, finally, after about, I don't know, I would say about 30 to 33 seconds somewhere in there, he finally tapped him out. So congratulations, awesome combat, because last time Jim Miller fought, he lost against I'm trying to remember who he fought against. I remember the guy, I think his name was Heath or something like that, or something. But he got choked out by this particular guy. I gotta look back at it and see. He got choked out by him, only to find out that it was a no contest because the opponent that beat him was caught with marijuana in the system. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, right? So it turned to no contest. It was still a loss, according to Joe Rogan. It was still a loss. Joe Rogan basically made an argument saying it has nothing to do with marijuana. The guy was just simply a better fighter. Hey, you know how Joe Rogan feels about marijuana and natural drugs anyway, and I have to agree with that as well. So, any event, though, Jim Miller, great win tonight. Excellent win. Now, in this heavyweight fight, as Josh Barnett went against Travis Browne from Great Hawaii. And the winner is Travis Browne via a knockout in the very first round. It didn't really last long at all, to be quite honest. Travis Browne, he's just sensational. Let's be honest. Now he's got some wins against Gabriel Gonzaga, Alistair Overeem, and now Josh Barnett. Josh Barnett's a monster, okay? But so to have, and the way he did it was just great, because Josh Barnett couldn't take him down. He was getting hit, and then Josh Barnett was hitting him back and various things. But what really was the beginning and the end was when Travis Browne got him and he kneed him in the head, really dazed him to a point where he tried to clinch on him, tried to hold on, make a mistake. Why? Started raining elbows like this, right to his head, to the side of the head, knocked him straight out. Oh man, Josh Barnett was busted up. Like, oh man. Travis Browne really got him. He destroyed him. Let's just be honest. He destroyed him. He knocked him out. Travis Browne really got it going. And you know what? He is right. We are looking at a new breed of mixed martial arts right there. We're looking at the next generation, the next breed, the next way of how the fighting goes. I wouldn't be surprised if MMA starts having all different other types of martial arts mixed in the MMA. Don't be surprised, because we're looking at the new breed right now. And Travis Browne represents that. And like I said, and I've said this about Stephen Struth about this, and I'm also saying this about Travis Browne. We're looking at a possible new heavyweight. I won't say new heavyweight champion. I would say future heavyweight champion in Travis Browne. I see that in him as well. Not just because he defeated Stephen Struth, but man, the way he destroyed a bunch of other guys. has been unbelievable. So let's look out for Travis Browne in 2014. Let's see how far he can go. I won't be surprised if he can be able to beat Cain Velasquez. I won't be surprised at all. You know, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So, anyways, in this co-main event, as the women's UFC Bantamweight Championship was on the line, as champion, Ronda Rousey went against, of course, Miesha Tate #2 for the rematch from when Ronda Rousey defeated Miesha Tate for the Bantamweight champion in Strikeforce, when Strikeforce was still open. But now they transferred to UFC Bantamweight champion, but still it's a rematch. And from all the heated that happened on the show, The Ultimate Fighter, when they were both coaches and various things, so it was just crazy. It just had a lot of heat to it, and a lot of questions of whether Miesha Tate has an answer to Ronda Rousey's, even that cross armbar that Ronda Rousey has become so famous of, even though the cross armbar has been applied by so many people throughout the years so many times. But Ronda Rousey really had a way to apply it to a point where it just looks awesome. Her judo techniques is second to none. I mean, even though I don't really care for the woman that much and her mouthy behavior and her opinions, I kind of do respect her, the fact that she speaks up and she says things, especially the fact that so many times in the United States, especially in North America, everything's become so politically correct. People are getting so sensitive about things that it's hard to really speak her mind these days. So, in one way, I admire Ronda Rousey for that, but another way, I just think that sometimes she goes too far with her mouth, and she needs to just really do more talking with her actions. And I mean, she's a beautiful woman, and she could just do more talk with her actions. I think people will respect her better. And I mean, she doesn't have to shake their opponent's hands or anything like that. But still, I mean, Miesha Tate, really brought a fight to her. It lasted 3 rounds. She even did the cross armbar the first time. Miesha Tate escaped that. But the difference about the armbar that she did was, like, the first time when she had 2 legs over her chest like that, and she was able to escape it. She even tried triangles, but Miesha Tate took the fight to her. But each and every time Miesha Tate tries to grab her, she would also flip, reverse, and get a judo takedown. So that's one of the powerful ways of being a judo practitioner, is that they can have great takedowns, great throws, and everything like that. But by the 3rd round, though, that's when, Ronda Rousey kept on hitting her, and then, kept on slamming her with judo throws, and to a point where she finally had her in the armbar the 2nd time. Only this time, rather than having 2 legs over her chest, she had 1 leg behind the, one of her legs went behind her head, the other was right over her head. So she was really trapped. No choice but to tap out. No shame in Miesha Tate losing in this one again. She came better this time. Ronda Rousey congratulated her for being a good sport, and I can understand why, if she talks about someone's family, I can kind of see why she would take it personally. I understand that. So, to each is what it is. Now, as far as Ronda Rousey, like I said, she definitely is improving, and she's really good. But I also know that there's other people, other women out there now that are going to be testing her, and they're going to find holes in their game. And so she's improving her striking, but at the same time, though, I've also seen the fact that she was getting a little bit tired after the the 1st round. The only saving grace that she had was that she's got some endurance and a lot of power moves with her judo. That's her saving grace right there. But what happens if someone else, is not threatened by her judo throws, that not only is either good with jiu-jitsu or wrestling, but is also good with everything else? What would happen then? So she definitely needs to really watch, what she says, and then because the more she opens her mouth, the more heated it gets. And people would get very irritated with her really quickly, and at the same time, she can back it up. But how long will she be able to back up her mouth and just concentrate on her fights? I just think she just needs to concentrate on improving herself, and if she needs to be expressive, but don't take things too far. That's just how it is. So at least she's bouncing out a little bit more so than I can say for most UFC male fighters. Anyway, let's move on to this main event, the UFC main event, as the UFC Middleweight Championship was on the line. Oh, and by the way, sorry to say, Ronda is still the champion of the UFC Bantamweight via submission via armbar. I just thought I'd put that out there. So she's still a champion. So congratulations, Ronda Rousey, on still keeping that belt. Now, going to the UFC Middleweight Championship, as Chris Weidman, the champion, the same man who knocked out Anderson Silva back to UFC 162 due to the fact that Anderson Silva messed around too much and got caught. And through the fight, and I really believe that he threw that fight for whatever reason, maybe his mind wasn't right at that time frame. But in any event, the rematch happened immediately, which I thought that they should have probably waited. And now I may be right, because I told the people you should have waited. That rematch should have waited right there. And what happened was Chris Weidman went in and took him down, but and so stood right back up with no hardly any problem. But then what happened was when they got to a clinch, Chris Weidman hit him pretty hard and then knocked him down, and he was like rocking him and hitting him and elbows and stuff like that. But at the same time, Anderson Silva recovered, was able to control more of the pace even when he was on the ground, and he was hitting him from the ground position and so forth. But the point of the matter is that it went to the 2nd round, and then when the 2nd round happened, that's when it was a stand up again. And what happened was, and this was what was the freakiest thing, Anderson Silva throws a leg kick. Of course, Chris Weidman checks it, and then what happened was his leg broke right in half, snapped in two, and it bent. It was so awful. Anderson Silva went to the ground, his leg got broken. The referee stopped it and rewarded Chris Weidman the TKO victory due to a broken leg. What? A broken leg? Are you kidding me? Of all this stuff that's been going on, Chris Weidman knocked him out because of Anderson Silva's antics and so forth. That was his own fault. So really, what would happen if Anderson Silva did not act a fool or act up? Would Chris Weidman really have beat him? And now the same questions, and the answers haven't been answered. I mean, Chris Weidman is a champion, no less. Anderson Silva, no matter what, will always go down as the greatest champion of all time. But we gotta be honest with guys. I mean, Chris Weidman, in a sense, did not beat Anderson Silva not once but twice. He didn't beat him the first time really, and he did not really beat him the second time. Shit happens in that way, and I mean, if anything, Anderson Silva is so damn good, he beat himself twice in such a way that I mean. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect Chris Weidman because he's a good man. I'm sure he's a cool person. I mean, he showed his humility in his victory, paying him respect and so forth. At the same time, let's be honest, he didn't really do too much to really convince that he is. I mean, yeah, he's done enough to have that well belt around his waist, but so many people are going to be criticizing him that he did not really beat Anderson Silva not once but twice. One was, I mean, the first time was Anderson Silva's own fault, and the second time was a freaky accident or the freaky situation. And it happens too, you know. Last time I saw an injury like that, I mean, I've seen many injuries. But previously I saw an injury with Jon Jones when he had a broken toe after he already beat up Chael Sonnen. But wow, that was really nasty. I mean, this is a career-ending injury. I'm not sure if he's going to continue after this, if he's going to retire. Nobody knows what's going on right now. All I'm saying is that, you know, I hope he gets, you know, the healing and recovery after the surgery, because this was just a nasty foot broken. It was just ugh. I'm sorry, I'm a little speechless about it right now. Not because he lost again. It was just because it was the way he lost. And you know, and like I said, not taking anything away from Chris Weidman. I mean, I don't really know him too much, but I do know that he's a great wrestler. He's a great fighter, and I mean, and if anybody I feel right now who is worthy of wearing that belt in the middleweight division right now at this time frame is Chris Weidman. Hey, at least he did what he did. He beat Anderson Silva, you know, as far as, you know, capitalizing on Anderson Silva's idiocy at that time. Not attacking him so much, but not only that, but also the fact that Weidman deserved it because he doesn't trash talk like Chael Sonnen. I mean, he's better deserving champion than Michael Bisping and various other fighters in the division. So this is gonna be something. I mean, Chris Weidman now has a lot of pressure on him now, and I know he'll deal with it, and he'll deal with it just fine. But how longer can he really hold on to it now without being a prime target? Because now he's a prime target now in that division. He's going to be a big time target. I mean, let's be honest. And then like I said, a lot of people are going to really. I mean, he didn't really beat Anderson Silva, and as far as Anderson Silva is concerned, you know, the thing is with Anderson Silva is like, I know he's got an excellent career. He's getting older now too. It ain't like he's a spring chicken anymore. It's not like he's like in his early 20s. He's 38 years old. His time may be coming to an end. Maybe this may be a wake up call for him to retire. I don't know yet. I mean, only he has an idea when he needs to do. Maybe Father Time has caught up to him. You know, maybe Father Time is saying, you know what, Anderson Silva, you did your thing. Now it's your time to pass the torch to someone else. You just need to go out gracefully. Maybe that's what Father Time is trying to explain to him, or trying to tell him in various ways. And I'm gonna tell you something. If any of y'all out there starts telling me or starts saying that I'm making excuses for Anderson Silva's losses, or I'm making excuses for this and that, then you know what? Let me tell y'all something right now. Y'all are not saying this because you're UFC fans. You're not saying it because you're Chris Weidman fans. You're not even saying it because you're fans of MMA or martial arts in general. Okay, you're just a bunch of idiotic punks who are just hating on Anderson Silva. If y'all are going to want to criticize me for making excuses for Anderson Silva, then you're just an Anderson Silva hater. You're not even a fan. You're a hater. So don't try to come at me and tell me that I'm making excuses for Anderson Silva. That's not an excuse. I'm just pointing out the obvious facts of what's going on and certain things that need to be, you know, that only a critical thinker like myself can see. You see? I'm not disrespecting Chris Weidman. And no, and like I said, Chris Weidman has a lot to prove still, even as a champion. But at the same time, I can see him as a great champion, and then I can see him carrying a division with some class and dignity that this sport often needs these days. Really, seriously. So, who knows what's going to go on with this from now on? But wow, what a way to close out 2013. And like I said, this is Silva's future. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to try to predict or say anything I'm not going to even try to speculate from this point forward. We'll see what happens. Maybe, perhaps, maybe, according to Lily Machida, now that he's down to middleweight, maybe he could be the next big thing now in that division. Hey, after all, they trained together with Anderson. He trained with Anderson Silva. Perhaps Anderson Silva can give him some pointers. Then the other Machida is good enough to really do some damage too. So we'll see about all that. Any event, I'm gonna get going. It's been a long night, even a longer day, man. Oh my goodness. Why? Because if I look exhausted and look like I'm sick or anything, I'm not. I just did a lot of healing work today on a client, along with Rainbow, my wife, and so there was a lot of stuff I did today, a lot of business work, and a lot of healing work for holistic health practice. So if any of you are interested in any healing work or counseling or anything like that on my part or on Rainbow's, just go ahead and go to bearandrainbow.com. Bearandrainbow.com. So that's where you can go find us and ask us about any services that we have to offer in that department. In any event, other than that, I will get going. It's been, like I said, it's been a long day, and it's going to be a longer night for me. In any event, take care of you, everybody. And you know what? Let me tell y'all something. Have a safe and happy New Year. Everybody, have a safe and happy New Year, and be safe, party responsibly, and let 2014 be a prosperous and abundant year and happy year for all y'all. Take care. Healing, it is all that is.